Hi everyone and welcome back to Gigi's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name's Alexis and I post 2 videos a week on a Tuesday and a Thursday at 7 AM. So if you love a recipe video like this one and you want to see more, then please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And now I'm going to share with you 3 of my favourite pancake recipes. As I just mentioned, today I want to share with you 3 of my favourite pancake recipes. So when we first started eating pancakes, we would normally have them on a Sunday morning, and then I would freeze some and we could have them during the week as well. So I'd make a big batch of them and put them in the freezer, and then we could eat them during the week. I also started to experiment with different types of flour as well after I started making pancakes. So I've made a few savoury pancakes which I've included in this video, and there is a sweet pancake in there as well. Savoury pancakes I normally have with things like soup. They make a brilliant alternative to bread, I have to say, and I love them, and I wanted to share my favourites with you today. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh out my dry ingredients, weigh and measure my dry ingredients. So I've got my scales here, and I'm going to weigh out 200 grams of porridge oats into my NutriBullet cup, like so. So I've got 200 grams going in here. And this, and that makes the basis of the porridge pancakes, obviously, because they're called porridge pancakes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add about 50 grams of ground flaxseed. You don't have to add ground flaxseed if you don't want to. These are obviously basic porridge pancakes, so you can add whatever you want or whatever you want to take away. So I think 50 grams is about 3 to 4 large tablespoons. I'm going to do another one. I add this because flaxseed is really good for you, and it's really good if you've got a bit of constipation as well, actually. Have to say that. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Now I'm going to be adding a teaspoon of ground sweet cinnamon to that as well. So I've just got a teaspoon there, and then I'm going to add a teaspoon of baking powder. Now I'd say the porridge oats and the baking powder are the main 2 ingredients that you can add. If you don't like cinnamon, then you don't have to add it, but it does add a little bit extra to the pancake, I have to say that. And I'm just going to go and get the blade for this because I've forgotten to get it, so I won't be a minute. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to blend all of these ingredients together in my NutriBullet cup. So I've blended everything together, and I've blended it until it looks like a flour basically. So it should look like that when you blend it all together. And I'm just going to set this aside now, and I'm going to move on to my wet ingredients next. So in the same NutriBullet cup I'm going to add 2 bananas. So I'm just going to roughly chop the bananas up. So I'm just going to take the skins off and just break them up into the cup like so. So I've got 2 of these. If you don't like banana and you're not a vegan, then you could use egg if you wanted to. So I'm just going to break that up again. And the egg will make the pancake stick together as well as the banana does, to be honest. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some raspberries to this. So I've just got frozen raspberries from my local supermarket, but you can use fresh if you want to, or you can use any type of fruit you like. If you don't like raspberries, you could use strawberries or blueberries, anything really. And then I'm going to add 2 handfuls of raspberries to this as well. So just a couple of handfuls of raspberries. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add about 400 mils of milk. So I think that was about 200 mils in there. And then I've got a new one here. I'm using oat milk, but you can use any type of milk you like. It doesn't have to be oat milk. If you're not vegan, it could be cow's milk or goat's milk, whatever you like really. And then I'm going to add another 200 mils. I'm going to judge that. So yeah, I kind of know how much 400 mils is now, so I don't really need to measure it out anymore. So yes, I'm going to now blend these ingredients together as well. So I've blended these until they form a smooth consistency, so it should look like a smoothie basically. That's the consistency that you want. It doesn't matter if the raspberries have little pieces in, that's fine. You can still put it into the basic flour mix and mix it round. And if you do want to add like extra raspberries to this, then you can do as well. You can make this mixture any way you really want to. So I've designed it that way so that you can add and take away things. So anyway, I'm going to add the wet ingredients to the dry ones now, but I'm just going to get a fork. Hang on a sec. So I've got a fork and I'm going to mix all of these ingredients together. I like to do it bit by bit because then I know the stuff at the bottom gets absorbed by the liquid, you see. If you pour it in all at once, it tends to, the stuff at the bottom can tend to be forgotten. So I'm just going to pour it in bit by bit, just to make sure all the flour is, all the liquid soaks into the flour in here, the oat flour in here. So yes, I'm just going to add a little bit more. I think I'll just finish that off now. And I'm going to mix these together like so. And now what I'm going to do, once this is well mixed together, I'm going to put this in the fridge overnight. And by putting it in the fridge overnight, it helps the digestive enzymes in the oats. So it helps us to digest oats easier if they are soaked overnight. So yes, I'm now going to put this liquid into the fridge overnight. So my pancake mix has been in the fridge overnight, and as you can see it is quite a stiff mixture. So what I like to do in the morning is just add a bit more milk to it, and again this can be any sort of milk of your choice. It doesn't have to be oat milk if you don't want it to be. So yeah, and then I just mix the milk in to the pancake mixture like so until it becomes a bit more loose. You don't have to pour it because I'm going to use the ice cream scoop, but yeah, I do like it a bit looser than that, so just add a bit more milk. And then once that's all well mixed in like so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my frying pan and I'm going to put it onto a high heat, and I'm going to let it heat up now. And I'm just going to get some coconut oil. So I've got my coconut oil, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of oil in the base of that pan. So I'm just going to put a bit of coconut oil down here like so, and I'm going to let the pan heat up now. So the pan is getting nice and hot, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a bit of the pancake mix to the base of the frying pan, like so, and I'm just going to try and spread it out evenly as well. And then I'm just going to let this pancake cook. And then once it starts to cook around the outside, which it should any moment now, I will flip it over and cook the other side. But yes, should start cooking around the outside. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. It sort of goes, you sort of see it go solid around the outside of the pancake. And if I just check underneath, oh, it still needs a bit more time, I think. Just going to turn the heat down as well. Doing this, the pan can get very hot, so if you need to turn the heat down at any point, please do so, because otherwise it can get a bit smoky in the room and stuff as well. Right, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and lift this pancake from the base of this pan, like so, and that's beautifully cooked there. as you can see. So I'm going to cook the other side and then I'm going to cook the rest of the pancakes. But that's basically it. That's how you make my basic porridge pancakes in the morning. Let me just flip that over. Like so. And once that's done, I'm going to leave that on a cooling rack to cool, and then we'll either have these for breakfast tomorrow, and the remains I will put in the freezer for the rest of the week. So Ted and Howard will have these for their breakfast for the rest of the week then. This recipe I have halved the ingredients. Normally this would serve 2, but as I'm the only one eating it tomorrow for breakfast, I have halved the ingredients. So in this bowl here I have 160 grams of chickpea flour. Chickpea flour you can get from your local supermarket. Most supermarkets I think nowadays sell it. It's normally in the Asian section, and you can also get it in health food stores, and you can also get it online as well. Amazon is a bit pricier than many other places, but yeah, you can get it online. And then in this bowl here I have something called nutritional yeast. Excuse me. So nutritional yeast is a plant-based food that looks a little bit like cheese but tastes like cheese. It hasn't got the same texture as cheese. It stays quite crumbly, but it gives it a cheesy flavour. So I've used a tablespoon of nutritional yeast, and I'm going to put this in here. And for anybody who's interested, I will leave a link in the description box below for nutritional yeast as well. You can buy it online. You can't really get it in supermarkets, but you could probably get it in a health food store. And then in this bowl here I have 1 teaspoon of onion granules. These you can buy in your local supermarket, and they're really delicious. If you can't be bothered to use an onion, then it's a great alternative just to put a teaspoon or 2 of that in. Really easy then. So now I'm just going to mix all of those ingredients together, and I'm going to put in a pinch of salt as well. So that's my pinch of salt gone in. And I'm still mixing this together. It's all well mixed in now. So I'm going to add oat milk. Now I said I've halved the ingredients for this, so I think it's 100 mils I use in the original recipe, but I should be using 50. But I find that chickpea flour soaks up the oat milk quite quickly, so I think I'm going to have to use a little bit more. So I put a little bit more in here, and I'm just going to mix that around for now to see how it is. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to use a little bit more. I don't want to make it too runny, because then the wraps or pancakes don't really sort of gloop together that well. And runny mixture is not good. But you want it like as thick as a pancake mixture basically. I think that's going to be enough. And I think that was probably about 80 mils in there. So I'm just going to stir all of these ingredients together, and then I'll clean my hob, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with this mixture. So I've set my mixture aside for a second, and now what I'm going to do is I've put a small frying pan, and I'm going to put that onto a high heat, and then I'm just going to add a bit of oil to the base of the pan, just a teaspoon or 2, and then I'm going to spread the oil just by tilting it all round the base, like so, and then I'm going to leave that to heat up now. So my pan is nice and hot now, and my mixture is looking like pancake mixture. So I'm going to pour about half the pancake mixture or wrap mixture into the base of the frying pan, and I'm going to tilt it so that it just forms a nice pancake like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this to cook now, and then once it starts to cook around the outside, that is when you can flip it over, but not until then, because it will still be quite soft and won't work otherwise. Yeah, not quite ready. You'll be able to tell because the bottom will go a lovely golden brown colour as well. So just as it starts to cook around the outside, that is when you can flip it over, like so. And then when the other side is cooked, I'm going to repeat this process, and I can smell the cheese now coming off this. It's delicious, I have to say. I thought I might have this with my fried eggs tomorrow morning for breakfast. I'm really looking forward to it. It smells really nice. So as I said, now I'm going to repeat this process. You can freeze these as well. All of the ingredients in that wrap or pancake are freezable, so you could freeze that if you wanted to. I did the first one quite small, so the second one will actually be quite big. So I'm just going to try and spread this as much as I can across the base of the pan. That's it, like so. So again, I'm just going to wait for it to cook around the outside. And as I mentioned earlier, you can have these with curries, soups, stews. If they're plain ones, you could put jam on them, but you could also put Marmite on these as well. The possibilities are endless, as they say. So that's cooked beautifully. That's the lovely golden brown colour on the back there. These do take a little bit of skill to get used to cooking them. They're like cooking pancakes basically, so if you're used to cooking pancakes you should be quite good at this, but it will take a little while if you're not. So, but just practice makes perfect, I say. The more you practice, the better you'll get at it. So that's what I tell my son anyway. So yes, that's cooked now, so I'm going to put that on a plate and leave that to cool, and then I shall have that for my breakfast tomorrow. In this bowl here I have about 100 grams of red lentils that I'm going to pour into my NutriBullet, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these into a flour, and then I have 100 grams of oats that I'm going to pour into my NutriBullet as well. So these are just going to go in, and this makes the basis of the pancakes. And I also like to add ground flaxseed to mine as well. So this is a ground flaxseed and pumpkin seed mix that I just blended in my NutriBullet, but you can buy similar things in the supermarket if you want to. The ones in the UK do a lot of different ranges of flaxseed now, so that's always good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a teaspoon of baking powder to that as well. And I'm going to add a pinch of salt as well, so probably about a 1/4 teaspoon I'd say. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of tahini as well. And the tahini is like the egg consistency of these pancakes. So these pancakes are vegan. I'm not a vegan, but I just enjoy making vegan food. Obviously I'm not a vegan because I have these with eggs, so yeah, but I just like making vegan food, and these are really yummy as well to have with a little bit of jam or honey too once you've made them. And then I'm going to add about 400 ml of milk to that as well. So I'm just going to pour the milk in now as well. And I'm going to put the lid on my NutriBullet cup, and I'm going to blend all of these ingredients together now until they're nice and smooth. And that is smooth like a pancake mix. So I'm going to put a lid on this, and I'm going to leave this in the fridge overnight now. So my pancake mix has been in the fridge overnight, and as you can see it's quite thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some milk to this just to make it a bit more of a pancake consistency. Hang on a sec, because I need it to soak in, that's all. So yeah, I just want it to be a bit more of a pancake mixture consistency. So I always add a bit more milk in the morning. Do you want to try and stir that for me?
Oh my god.
Okay.
Looks like gone wrong porridge.
My son has decided to join us for this video, for this part of this video.
Hello.
So, so the pancake mix is done now, and I'm going to get a pan from my cupboard, and then I'm going to put it on a high heat, so I won't be a moment.
What cupboard?
Right, so my pancake mix is now done. It's looking much more like a pancake mix than it was earlier. So what I'm going to do is I've got my frying pan, and I'm going to put this onto a high heat. I'm just going to let this heat up, and I'm going to add a lot of oil to the base of the pan, because I find that if I add a lot of oil, the pancakes cook a little better. So I'm just going to spread this round. I'm not going to use my plastic brush or anything like that to spread it. And then I'm just going to leave this pan to heat up now. So my pan is getting nice and hot now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an ice cream scoop full of pancake mix to the base of the pan, like so. And you will need to tap it off the ice cream scoop as well. And I'm just going to spread that around, and I'm going to leave that to cook now. And once it's cooked around the outside, I shall flip it over, but I'll show you that in a moment. So this has cooked beautifully on the bottom side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over now, and I'm going to leave it to cook on the other side. And then once it's cooked, I'm going to put it onto a cooling rack, and I'll cook the rest. So yeah, as I said, once it cooks slightly round the outside of the pancake, that would probably be a good time to turn it over. And as you can see, this one's beautiful. It's got a really lovely golden brown colour as well. So yeah, that's done now, and I'm just going to cook off the rest. I've finished making the pancakes, and this is them. So I've made about 16, and I'm just going to leave these to cool down on the cooling rack. These will probably last me for quite a few breakfasts, but as I think I mentioned earlier, you could have these with a bit of jam in the afternoon as well if you wanted to, as like a little afternoon snack, or honey. Either will do. Yes, so as I said, I'm going to leave these to cool down, and then I'm going to take two, and I'm going to make my breakfast with these tomorrow, and I'll show you my breakfast tomorrow. So this is my breakfast this morning. This is my oat and red lentil pancakes, and what I've done is I've fried some kale with a little bit of garlic powder and onion powder, and I've just sliced an avocado and put that on top. And then I've got 2 poached eggs on top of my oat and red lentil pancakes, and I'm really looking forward to my breakfast, and this is what I have probably every other day of the week. That's how you make my 3 favourite pancake recipes, and those recipes I will link in the description box below for you. For now, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye.